Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Wayne, and welcome back to the channel. So, I have not been uploading for a while, and well, I'm in college, and I have been busy doing work. So, I'm going to keep it as scheduled. Every Mondays, you'll get a video from me. This video might be later down the week. So also, if I sound sick, I am sick. My voice may be different for the video. So, yeah. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Reddit again. So let's get into the video and let's try to see what Reddit has to offer this time. I think my teacher is a child predator. To begin this, I will not be disclosing any other information about myself except that I am in high school. I, female, have picked up on some weird behavior from my teacher. He picks on a male student that interacts with the female students. He always brings up one student's boyfriend and chastises him about his football skills. Recently, I have noticed that he is very protective over one specific student in particular. We'll call her J. I, for one, think that J is very beautiful, and I think that everyone else in the school can say the same. She's very quiet, soft spoken whenever she speaks. Her and I share most of our classes together, and when our teacher talks to her, it's about either her grades or calling her to answer a question. But our teacher, we call him Mr. P, interacts with her on a very different level. He touches her hair and as I've pointed out before, he picks on her boyfriend, always bringing him up whenever he's not relevant to the conversation we're having. So I'll have to add in a word because the writer either forgot or misspelled the word, so I'll have to add in a word. So let's see how the story goes from here. Once he had came in the class to chastise him over something Jay had forgotten, and Mr. P was hell-bent on getting him to leave. He talks and asks about activities Jay and her boyfriend do outside of the school, like if that is any of his business, in front of the class, might I add. I have noticed that whenever Mr. P spoke to Jay, her face and body language will change. Her shoulders will cave in whenever he passes her by. Her face contours into a disgusted one whenever he calls her name. Recently, Recently, me and my acquaintance had put the pieces together. Jay had gotten her hair done and Mr. P took notice to that, making it a topic for 5 to 10 minutes. He had recently braided her hair and which made her uncomfortable. She kept telling him to stop and he continued to laugh about it. Once I told him to stop, he snapped at me. When he introduced himself to the class, he told us that he took an opportunity at our school for the benefits. No, that's bullshit because everyone knows that our school has no benefits. In actuality, he was fired for an inappropriate relationship with a student. Why didn't the school run a background check when he applied? That I do not know. No, some people after reading all this may ask or say, maybe he's trying to be friendly or friends with her. No person over 21 years should be this touchy and friendly with a minor. A teacher for that. They are not being paid to be friends with a child. TLDR, my teacher is touchy with a student. No, so, right? What I am, what I have read is very much disgusting, and I'm OP. To be honest with you, hopefully, I pretty hope that you can update this pretty soon because by I've right now I'm on it, and 2 days ago you have posted on it, right? So I want to say two things. As I've said before in my past video, which will be linked in the description below or at the end title card. right? I have said this. A teacher is not to be playing with any child in any instances, right? You are not given the job to touch nobody's child. That is what I'm saying. Now, with that, I've also you have said that you do not know her school did not do a background check. I've even made uh even have commented on that on my past video as well. Schools, places and stuff. Whenever you're firing someone and a next company hires them, make sure that wherever the person works, or if you are a employer, do a background check on your employees. If you're a company that don't do background check, do background checks, because you do not want to, for instance, you as a principal, right? Or a ministry, for instance, you hire teachers, send them out to schools, and then what happens is that you get a complaint that they're being a bit too touchy with students. You fire them afterwards. Then you reassign them to another school, right? Or let's say, for instance, you're not a ministry, but the person go and look for another school, right? And they're hired in another school by another principal, right? No, you as a principal should be doing a background check and say, okay, why were you fired in the first place? Or what was the the previous your previous workplace? Let me give me their number. Let me call them and find out why you were fired. Not to hear it from their words, but hear it from the past work words. Right? Now, as I said, I am not a bit well, but still I'm going to try. But OP, I please be there for a friend and honestly keep us updated, because this is just disgusting in many ways than one. That he signs up as a teacher and then whoever is reading this will be saying that, oh, he's just a friend or something. That is not a friendly gesture. So hopefully your friend Jay gets help soon, or the teacher, Mr. P, is fired pretty soon, because this is outrageously wrong. Let's move on to the next story. Okay, so before hopping on to the next story, I am here to let you all know that the next story has some trigger warnings, which are as follows: CSA, or molestation, and some spellings, incorrect spellings, and childhood trauma. Now, if you don't know what CSA is, it is an abbreviation I would use. Well, starting from now, I'll be using a lot of these abbreviations to kind of keep the channel a bit monetized still. If you don't know what it is, it's an abbreviation. You can look it up at CSA abbreviation. You can learn more on it. Just don't practice it. Sorry if the explanation isn't clear. My memory is very fuzzy and may have blacked out some of the memories. I am Ray, 28 years old, and I've been keeping something inside my mind and heart for years, and I think I'm finally ready to tell my dad what happened to me. Can't tell my mom since she's dead. Only two people know, is my best friend and my husband. When I was 5 years old, me and my mom went on a trip to India. Guess my mom wanted to try to do the whole polyamorous thing with a married couple, and they had an older son named Richard, probably 7 at most. We were allowed to hang out alone together. There would be times where we'd be in his room under his bed to hide from everyone. The space was big enough for us to fully be under there, and he would have me touch him in certain places, and do sexual acts and not actual sex. Being that young, you didn't know what was wrong and what was right. He would even have me kiss him. I don't remember if he touched me, but it kept happening almost every day until my mom and I finally left that awful place. I have never spoken about what happened to me, and now I'll never get the chance to tell my mom. For years I was able to try and bury it, but it still lingers in the back of my mind, and some days are worse than others. Was I molested? I don't even know what to call it. Should I even tell my dad or just keep it to myself? Sorry if this is all formatted word. Answer. Thanks for taking time to read this. So I've read through and I read some comments because not much comments that are there. And OP, sorry that you had to go through that. I am so sorry that you had to go through that. And I even read a comment that said that kid was obviously molested too. I felt bad for the both of you. No, you see, no people that say, oh, only females get sexually harassed. No, it not only females. Both happens about male and females because it happens quite often, quite more often than you think. Now, back to the story. OP is that I'm sorry that this had happened to you and happened by old brother. You said right now you're 28 years old, and if you posting that, that means your brother is 30. Now, you asked the question whether or not you should tell your dad. No, I think you actually should. Come out to your dad and let your dad know what had happened. It is something that needs to get off your chest, and you need to get that weight lifted off your chest for you to feel free, because this is holding you down. And I do not know your whole story life. I do not know if you have ever went to therapy or whatever about it, but try and go talk to someone professionally about it and hear the advice they give as well. Reddit is not really a place you can find much persons with a degree in this much often, but try and see if you could go speak to someone professionally and get their advice. But the advice I will give you is tell your dad. Your dad deserves to know. And what your brother's done is just straight up wrong. And if by chance what the commenter was saying that he was molested, I feel bad for the both of y'all. Because in cases like this is where someone molests another, like for instance, where some grown ass man will molest a little child. In those instances, if you do a background check on the man, is that he was molested at a young age as well. Now, I do not know if your brother was molested. I do not know. I do not know anything in the family. But what I'm going to be saying is that basically talk to your dad. Let your dad know what's going on. And I do not know if this thing can be put into a case where you can talk to your brother. I don't know if you're still in contact with your brother, but talk to your dad and hear the advice he'll give, or talk to someone professional. Next story. Needing advice. I, 34 male, royally screwed up big time. I have been with my wife, 30 female, for over 8.5 years. We have had a 7-year-old daughter. Back in 2016, we have became parents with only a 30-hour notice, as our child was one of I did not know I was pregnant babies. Due to the stress of being a new parent and working like crazy, the communication between me and my wife broke down due to us focusing on our child. Over the years, we never worked it out, but during that time, I have started seeking validation online from different women. Due to my low self-esteem, from gaining a massive amount of weight after serving in the military, I have felt like I was less of a man and really hated myself cause of not being able to do things with my family like I would want. No, I am not excusing my behavior. I fully take responsibility for it. I have been doing this since my daughter was 6 months old. 4 days ago, someone messaged my wife and informed her that I was online messaging another woman. No, I must say, I have never cheated on my wife physically, and most of the women I have talked to live out of my current state. As I've stated, I was looking for an ego boost at the time, and I unfortunately let this continue for years. No, my wife is contemplating getting a divorce. I do not know how to win her back. I truly never meant to hurt her in any way. Yes, I know I am probably getting going to going to get bashed for this post, but I can really use some advice on how to win her back. I don't want to risk 8.5 years due to my low self-esteem issues. I'm fully willing to commit to therapy as well as doing any and everything to fix this and to mend my family. I really could use your advice, criticism, any and everything. I will gladly take it, in it meaning mending my family back together. So I had a hard time reading that because whole time reading my throat was just basically hurting because as I said I've been coming on with a cold and it's not the best. Okay, right. So I I okay. I know where you're coming from. This, it's like you don't want you suffer from low self-esteem, and you sometimes seek validation from others to kind of boost it. No, I am not saying that I condone what you did. What you did was morally wrong. When you were married, you gave your partner, basically you told them that, hey, I'm giving you my heart. Basically, your partner is saying you, hey, I'm giving you my heart. Take good care of it. Now, what you did is that you took her heart, you took care of it for some time, and due to you having some stress and some emotional self-esteem issues, you broke it. No, you can fix it. Honestly, you can. I do not know how, but there is probably somebody can help you fix it. But the advice I'm going to give you is, since you're looking for advice I'm going to give you is try and see if you could sit down and have a talk with your wife. Put her sit down and have a talk with your wife. If someone needs to be there as well, be there. And secondly, delete the application. Or if it's online, matter of fact, do all the above. Delete your account, unregister from the app, delete your account and delete the application. That is step one. Step two will be talking to your wife. Sit down and talk to your wife. No, I am not saying that is 100% guarantee she will take you back or she would forgive you. These things are to be worked on. A person cannot just forgive and forget that easy. Yes, they can forgive easy, but forgetting is not that easy. She may forgive you, but to forget it, it will take her a while. So, all I can say is sit down and speak to your wife. If she needs someone there, you can tell her, okay, if you want someone to be there and you talk to them, you talk to her with them present, then you can go ahead and talk to her. Because this it needs to be sorted out. Because what you did was wrong. You recognize that. What you did was wrong. But also as well, you need to fix it. So, let's move on to the last story. And the last story is from me, coming from my side. So, let's move on to the last story. So, alright. So, guys, yeah. So, I'm not going to read off a script or read off a Reddit story for this one. But the last story involves me. And while reading these stories and whatnot, I have been contemplating on whether or not I should tell the story again. Because actually, I think I do have a video up on that story itself. And, well, I don't think I can link it over to on this channel here and see what goes on, but I will link it and see what goes on. But I'm going to tell the story again since I've had time and could say everything now. Because when I was telling the story back then, my mind was all about police, couldn't remember much and whatnot. I still can't remember much as is, but majority of it has come back already. So, alright, back in, I think it was 2020, right? I think it was 2020? 2020, 20, yes, 2020, right? I was in an accident. January 11th, 2020, a Saturday. So I am part of a cadet. I'm part of cadets. If you don't know what cadets is, it's a paramilitary organization. Now these are you can join cadets at a certain age, which is 13 years old, 12 to 13 years old. That is when you're in high school. In down here it's called secondary school. Now this thing. Now where I live, I think y'all will get where I live. If so, even if I live in Grenada, right? And where I live, every February 7th, we celebrate our Independence Day. Now, right, with that, we as cadets, we practice drills for Independence Day. We practice every Saturday, sometimes during the week as well. We also practice with the police force, the prison guards, and other, well, paramilitary organizations as well on island. So with that, no, it was a Saturday. 1 minute. So with that, it was a Saturday, and well, I we had a long day of training finished from 2 to 3, and I was going up home. Where I live was not too far from the training area, and I said, you know what, as usual, let me walk it. So I was walking home, and while walking home, me and one of my next cadets, he was a corporal at the time, lance corporal or corporal at the time. At the time, I had no ranks. I think it's either he had a ranks or not. So I think he was the corporal at the time. One of the ranks, corporal, lance corporal. So with that, he had a rank, and we was walking up and we was talking, and we was talking and walking and stuff. So we reached a certain area. Now, where we was is that it have in Grenada sidewalks. You see how in the states how they have sidewalks and stuff. We do have that, but when you see you're on they're going to more closer villages and stuff, there are certain parts of the village where you will have a dust sidewalk and you have a concrete sidewalk. Now where we was where we and on those sidewalks vehicles parked up. Now where we had to go now we had to go around vehicles because they were packed up on the sidewalk, and the last two was about, let's say, around 10, not 10, yeah, around 8 to 10 centimeters on the road. So it's a simple walk around. So he took the front and I took in the back. Now, while walking, my mind, no joke, in my mind, I heard something tell me turn around. No, I turned around and for me it felt like if time was slowing down. I basically, what I saw was, I saw Alexis. I saw Alexis coming towards my direction. And so I was I was surprised. But how it was so close that my mind was registering to turn around. 'Cause I couldn't dodge at the time, I couldn't do anything. So basically, as soon as I get a glimpse of it, I was knocked. Like I just turned my head, not my whole body, with my head. I continued walking but turned my head, and I got knocked down with it. Now, you see, I was not the only one that got knocked. My friend, uh, cadet at the time, the lance corporal at the time, or corporal, I'll just say corporal at the time, was in front of me, just a feet in front of me. So when I got knocked, he also got knocked as well. Now, with that, we had a bit of a dilemma. I, from what I had observed and what I was told, so let me start off before I go into that. While I was knocked onto the vehicle, like literally saw myself on the vehicle. For a quick second, I saw myself on the vehicle and then back to reality. So with that, I was like, okay, what's up now, right? I was like, okay, what's up now? Nothing too much, nothing too difficult. I was on the ground. I was on the ground, knocked out, glass in my hair, and as being a part of military, you can't have your hair high, so you know my hair was a, I was a low head child, so that happened about a few years back. So my hair was low, and I was knocked. I was on the ground. Now, some of the residents around the area, they knew me at the time, and the driver was panicking because for all he knew is that he knocked two children down, and he was panicking. No, he had to call his insurance and whatnot. He took pictures of the vehicle. He sent them to me. I will put a clip up of it when I don't tell the story. He took pictures of the vehicle and whatnot, but he came to check on us. No, I had to call my mom. But before I called my mom, I was getting up on them men helped me up. No, as me being dude, as I'm doing first aid, I would say what they was wrong. Because I could have a back injury and them basically lifting me up could have damaged me. No, I don't had no injury. And for me, I felt fine. Like the adrenaline was still keeping me up fine. So we was both of us was put sit down on a bench next to the road, and everybody was surrounding the area and asking what went on. They was making sure that we were okay, this and that. Now we called the ambulance, and the ambulance came as quickly as possible. Before calling the ambulance, they told me to call my mom. I called my mom, and what I had told her that day shocked her. I told her, Mom, I got bounced. Now, as a mother, you don't ever want to hear that words come out of your child's mouth or ever come out of someone's mouth. So, mind you, she was at her previous job at the time, and from what I remember, she was getting ready to leave. As soon as I uttered the words, Mom, I got bounced, all I've heard was she asked, What? Then I repeated again. She asked where are they. I told her where my exact location was. No, you see, never think that a black woman cannot get down there within less than 2 minutes. I kid you not. It is at least a good 3 minutes drive from my mother work to my bounce location. My mother was there on that 2 minutes or less. She was there down there. No, she didn't even get time to cut off the phone. She just shoved the phone in she bag. So with that, they called the ambulance. Ambulance came, but before ambulance came again was my captain at the time and my PO, yes, PO came up and was asking what happened. Well, I told him what happened and whatnot. I had a 1 inch impel injury from after the whole incident. Was that basically on my right hand, on the palm of my right hand, a little piece of skin was thing, so I just rip it off and throw it away. No, I had shards of like little dust of glass in my hair, no like busted or nothing. No, with that, I take actually did that was the first time I take a look at the vehicle. The vehicle left passenger seat windscreen shattered, bumper dented. No, let's go to the hospital. Alright? They took me to the hospital, they took me and my friend to the hospital. And well, they told me that due to they told me that I had no concussions, no head trauma, nothing, right? Because, mind you, for the first half of the entire year, I was in and out of hospital, doing x-rays, doing CT scans, and whatnot. I had no visible nor no injuries internally. So, with that, I would say that I was okay. Now, looking at it now, I would say that that's okay and whatnot. But looking back at it now, is that I could have lost my life. And I do joke around about it sometimes. I do joke around about it. But realizing reading through these stories on Reddit make me realize that I could have lost my life. I could have not been here today. I could have not met people who I have met the love of my life. I could have not met these people if that vehicle killed me. So many x-rays and whatnot later, I was basically fine. No, the day right after the accident, the Monday, the whole secondary school was praying for me because they heard I got in an accident. Now, mind you, I was not kept in hospital for more than about 3 to 4 hours. And yes, I will say that they should have kept me and my friend in to observe us for, to see if anything would happen and whatnot. They should have kept us, but it happened and it went. So, I'm going to say this. Alright? If you're in an accident and the hospital don't want to keep, or the hospital just do a little to see if you could speak to a doctor and actually have them keep you. If you're not having a good feeling about you going home and about you, like after the accident, you're not having a good feeling, ask them to keep you, let you stay in a while. Mind you, because afterwards, about the next half of the year after the whole incident, I realized when I was, mind you, I do have some weight, eh? So, but when I run a bit for a while, I can run for about an hour. But after I run after the hour, my ankle, or above my ankle there, does give me a little bit of pain. Now, mind you, I will just run through the pain. I know it's not good for me, but yeah. So, guys, what I'm saying is that I can relate to a lot of things. There are a lot of things I cannot disclose, but I can relate to a lot of things. And with that being, not sexual abuse, not these things. Like I will not say, but I have heard, I've seen, I've talked with people that had that done with them in real life. I mean, I have talked to people that had those things done to them and given them advice. And well, what I'm going to say is that I want you to find your happiness. No, I'm going to continue reading Reddit stories, upload once or twice a week. So, what I'm going to say is this. Remember your purpose and remember what you're here for. So, yeah. So guys, that will be all for tonight. Hope you all enjoyed. See you all next week Monday for more Reddit videos. Hopefully we get into other subreddits, and well, see you all then. Take care. Good night and peace.